right, so we stopped off with, okay, is Paul in Rome yet? No. Where is he? Somewhere we went. He's in Caesarea, on the sea, okay? He's Caesarea, it's Caesarea, on this Mediterranean, and one of the complexes that Herod built, okay? So it's Roman, all right? There is a port there, there is a city there, but it's mainly Roman, and so that's where he is. He's in a facility, and but he has a lot more freedoms because he's a Roman citizen. Okay, he's been here for a while. God told him that he was going to go to Rome, right? And he's still in Israel. Okay, all right. So that's where we're at. Verse 24. After some days, Felix came with his wife Drusilla, who was Jewish. I know, it happens. He sent for Shaul and listened to him as he spoke about trusting in the Messiah Yeshua. But when Shaul began to discuss, righteousness, self-control, and righteousness, self-control, fruits of the Spirit? Oh, and the coming judgment, Felix became frightened and said, for the time being, go away. I'll send for you when I get a chance. Mm-hmm. You know, there's sometimes where truth comes at you and it's like, I can't handle it today. Well, you don't want to handle it today. Let's get real. It's not that he couldn't, he didn't want to, okay? I can't deal with that today. Why? Because you don't want to. There are sometimes in prayer, God is showing me things and giving me things. It's like, okay, I gotta step back. Why? Because it can be overwhelming. So it could be that too. Okay, but Felix is familiar with some of these things. Okay, he is. And he's got a Jewish wife, so you know he's familiar with some of these things.
It says in verse 22 he had rather detailed knowledge of things connected
That's
with
right.
the way.
That's right. So it's not like he's overwhelmed with. He had detailed knowledge of the way. The way means the way of Messiah. Okay? It's a part of Judaism. Okay? So when he began to discuss righteousness, self-control, and the coming judgment, Felix became frightened, and he said, for the time being, go away, and I will send for you when I get a chance. In other words, when I feel like it. Okay. At the same time, he hoped that Shaul, Paul, would offer him a bribe. Oh, so Roman. So he sent for, so politician. Oh, for he sent for him rather often and kept talking with him. Motivations, right? Motivations. After 2 years, Felix was succeeded by Porcius Festus. But because Felix wanted to grant the Judeans a favor. Now that part blows me away. These Judeans, the Romans do nothing but complain about the Judeans. Oh, these Judeans. Because they're not, they haven't been conquered. They made an alliance. You got to go back in history. You got to go back after the Maccabees. You got to go back there. They made an alliance with Rome. Okay, they weren't conquered. It'd be a totally different story if they were conquered. Okay, but Rome still rules. Okay, so they put up with them, basically. They tolerate these Jews. 3 days after Festus had entered the province, he went up from Caesarea to Jerusalem. Remember, it doesn't matter that Caesarea is here. You go up to everything. Jerusalem is center. It doesn't matter if you're in the south or the north or the east or the west. When you go to Jerusalem, it's always up. Okay? Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. Come, let us go up, okay, to Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the center. All right? Always.
Kind of like your own true north.
Yep, that's it. Exactly. There, the head Kohanim, priests, and the Judean leaders informed him of the case against Shaul, Paul, and they asked him to do them a favor of having the man sent to Jerusalem. Here we go again. Look, they plotted to have him be ambushed and killed en route. The religious leaders. Here we go again, right? Here we go again. Festus replied that Shaul was being kept under guard in Caesarea and that he was about to go there shortly himself. So he said, let competent men among you come down with me, right? With me and press charges against the man if he has done something wrong. After staying with him most 8 or 10 days, Festus went down to Caesarea, and on the following day he took up his seat in court and ordered Shaul to be brought in. And when he arrived, the Judeans who had come down from Jerusalem stood around him, bringing many serious charges against him, which they could not prove. You can bring all the charges you want, but you got to be able to prove them. Well, we should, right, if there's justice. In reply, Shaul said, I have committed no offense, not against the Torah to which the Jews hold, not against the temple, and not against the emperor. He just addressed their three main targets, because they said that he was telling people not to obey Torah. And then they said that he abused the temple by bringing in unclean people to the temple. So he's dressed by, but then they also said something about another king, and so they're appealing to Rome because they want him put to death. So he's also, and they didn't speak against the emperor either. Okay? But Festus, wanting to do the Judeans a favor, oh my goodness, you too? Asked Shaul, would you be willing to go up to Jerusalem and be tried before me there on these charges? And Shaul replied, I am standing right now in the court of the emperor, and this is where I should be tried. I have done no wrong to the Judeans, as you very well know. If I am a wrongdoer, if I have done something for which I deserve to die, then I am ready to die. But if there is nothing to these charges which they are bringing against me, no one can give me to them just to grant a favor. I kind of like Paul. He doesn't play up here. He knew exactly what they were doing. So what does he do? He gets right down to it. I've told many of you, and many one-on-one times, just because someone comes at you here and they accuse you here, don't play their game. Cut to the heart of it. Call it what it is, right? Call it what it is. My letter of resignation. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm not playing your. I don't play games. Cut to the heart of it. Truth matters. Okay, and truth will also touch some people, because somebody will go, "Oh, this one's real. I want to listen to what this one has to say." Oh, they're just like all the others. Don't be like all the others. If I'm a wrongdoer, I'm going to repeat, 11. If I have done something for which I deserve to die, then I'm ready to die. But if there is nothing to these charges which they are bringing against me, no one can give me to them just to grant a favor. I appeal to the emperor. Okay, now, right here, Paul has sealed his fate. I appeal to the emperor. Those words right there seal his fate. It doesn't matter if somebody in authority comes along and says, oh, we'll free you. It's done. It's like being written in stone. He is going to Rome. He's going to the emperor. These words right here have solidified that. And nothing can change it. It's kind of like, remember when we did Esther, right? And Mordecai. And what happened? Esther said, can you rescind this? Can you pull this law back? And he goes, no. Once the king says something and puts a signet on it, even the king can't change it. These words cannot be changed. Man, what a far cry we've gotten today. Oh, no, wait, I didn't mean it. Then why'd you say it? We really need to stop and think before we open our big mouths.
Darn emotions again, huh?
Sometimes not even emotion, but yeah.
Yeah. Emotions, well, I mean,
yeah. So, it's like, bite your tongue.
Swallow the blood.
Think before you open your trap. And sometimes when we think, maybe we won't open it.
Quite a reflection sometimes.
I've told you before, some of you know firsthand, there's some folks out there that believe some pretty horrendous things about me. So what? None of my business.
It's their problem.
Don't you want to correct them?
I'm taking up space in their head, hey, at least they're thinking about me. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter to me. I mean that much to somebody. I'll bother you and you don't even know me. I'm good with that. I don't care about me.
So I like that. He says, I've got space in their head, free rent.
Yep.
Don't let them get free rent in yours. Sometimes, do we need to speak truth to defend? Yes. By your word you'll be acquitted, by your word you'll be condemned. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. You shall correct. Every tongue that rises against you, you will correct. Okay? But don't step out of order. And sometimes it shouldn't be immediate, and sometimes it shouldn't even be. Answer a fool according to his folly.
Let it come directly to your face. You don't really have to go. Don't aggressively go towards it, but defend yourself if it comes to you. For sure.
Depends. It
It doesn't have
depends.
to be violent. I mean, just
No, it depends though.
sometimes.
Sometimes someone can look right at me. They've done that, where they've looked right at me and said, and done. No, not going there. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. You got to be really discerning. We really need to think. Okay, really discerning. We really do. Because some people just want to pick a fight. Some people are going to take what you say and twist it and malign it and going to speak things that didn't happen, or they'll twist it. Okay, I can say nothing and they're still going to make stuff up. So let them make it up on their own. Because I guarantee you, anybody who really knows me is going to go, she wouldn't say that. She might put some gasoline on it and light the fire. But there's certain things she's not going to do. And there's certain things she's not going to say. Okay? So, let's be integrity. Let's use discernment. And don't step into the arena. You might be in the arena. Doesn't mean you have to play the game. Okay? Don't play the game. I'm telling you, silence will irritate them more than your words will. Okay? All right. How did we get there? I don't know. All right. Then Festus, verse 12, after talking with his advisors, answered, "You have appealed to the emperor. You will go to the emperor." Only there's an exclamation point there. So guess what? He said this with emotion. He said this with,
Sternly.
yeah, like, dadgummit, Saul. Okay, right?
Who's going along?
Okay. After some days, King Agrippa and Bernice arrived at Caesarea to pay their respects to Festus. Since they were staying on there for some time, Festus had the opportunity to acquaint the king with Shaul's situation. "There is a man here," he said, "who was left behind in custody by Felix. When I was in Jerusalem, the head Kohanim and the elders of the Judeans informed me about him and asked me to pronounce judgment against him. My answer to them was that it was not the custom with Romans to give an accused man to give up an accused man just to grant favor. Before he has met his accusers face to face and had the opportunity to defend himself against the charge." Okay, let me ask you this. Do you remember from last week? Those who accused him, have they ever shown up to accuse him to his face? No. He said, these two should be here. They're the ones who accused. They should be here. They're not here. And if not, then you say what I've done. And you couldn't do it either. So he still has not faced his accusers. I'll bet you anything that when he goes to Rome, his accusers won't show up either. My answer to them was that it's not the custom with Romans to give up an accused man just to grant a favor before he has met his accusers face to face and have the opportunity to defend himself against the charge. Man, I could go all kinds of places. So if you've got accusers, go ahead and show them before I give you your favor. Otherwise, it wouldn't look good. Didn't he say he was looking for something? He was trying to give the Judeans a favor? He was. That word keeps popping up. Out of the abundance of the heart. The motives. Okay. So when they arrived here with me, I did not delay, but took my seat in court, and the next day, and ordered the man brought in. When the accusers stood up, instead of charging him with some serious crime, as I expected, they disputed with him about certain points of their own religion, and particularly about somebody called Yeshua, who had died, but who Shaul claimed was alive. How does he know this? Remember, he has knowledge. Okay. Being at a loss as to how to investigate such questions. Why? Because it's not within Roman jurisdiction. So why was he in Roman court? I asked him if he would be willing to go to Jerusalem and be tried on these matters there. But since Shaul appealed to be kept in custody and have his case decided by his imperial majesty, I ordered him held until I could send him to the emperor. Agrippa said to Festus, "Oh, I've been wanting to hear this man. Tomorrow," he said. "You will hear him tomorrow." Okay, so the next day, Agrippa and Bernice came with much pageantry. They entered the audience room accompanied by military commanders and the prominent men of the city. This is a big to-do. Then, at the command of Festus, Shaul was brought in. Festus said, "King Agrippa, and all of you here with us, do you see this man? The whole Judean community has complained to me about him, both in Jerusalem and here, crying that he shouldn't be allowed to remain alive. Is that true?" Did the whole Judean community? No, just loudmouth certain portion of the leaders, not even all the leaders, right? Because we know some of the leaders actually believed in Yeshua. Okay. But I discovered that he had done nothing that deserves a death sentence. Now, when he himself appealed to the emperor, I decided to send him. So I have a question. So when you had already decided that he did nothing to deserve death, why didn't you let him go? Because you wanted a bride. That's why. He was waiting for a bride to let him go. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. However, I have nothing specific to write to His Majesty about him. This is why I have brought him before all of you, and especially before you, King Agrippa. Okay, now wait a minute. Did you hear that? Sometimes we miss that. We think that he's just going to ask Agrippa for some insight. He said all of you. Who? Go up a few verses. The military commanders? Bernice? What's the matter?
Recognition.
So the command, it's the whole entourage. He's saying, "Okay, you guys, I'm gonna bring him out. Y'all, we're gonna have a jam session afterwards. And think, we're gonna think about it. And I gotta write something to send him off. I can't just send him without sending something, some charge or something. And I don't have anything. So again, why didn't you let him go? Oh, because that wasn't God's will. God already told him he was where? Going to Rome. Okay? Sometimes we ask the wrong questions. We want to know why when God already said it's happening. Well, it's a done deal. Move on. It's a done deal. Move on. Are there things that I've asked God repeatedly? He said, "Don't ask me again." Good things. In my eyes.
Good for you, but maybe not good for you.
Yeah. That's a hard, bitter pill to swallow sometimes. Especially if you knew what it was. Okay? He has a reason. He has a plan. Remember the maze I tell you that, he's up in here. We're in a maze. Our life is a maze. And he's like, step out. Kids, step out. That's a dead end. Step out. Why? Because he can see if you step out. And then you step out. Oh, there's a whole path over here. Turn. He doesn't want you to go. He wanted you to step out so you could see where he wants you to go next. Okay? Does he change his mind? No. He's got to prod you to get you to move. Step out. Go straight ahead. God, do you see that? That's not your... I know that's not your will because that's evil. Step out. Then you step out. Oh, your perspective changes. Why? Because what you can see changes. And then he can move you. Okay? However, I have nothing specific to write to His Majesty about him. This is why I have brought him before all of you, and especially before you, King Agrippa, so that after we have examined him, I might have something to write. It seems irrational to me to send a prisoner without so also indicating what the charges against him are. Agrippa said to Shaul, you have permission to speak on your own behalf. Okay, so Agrippa, he put it into Agrippa's hands. Now Agrippa's leading. So Agrippa says to Shaul, go ahead, speak on your own, speak on your behalf. In other words, you don't have a lawyer, speak on your own behalf. Then Shaul motioned with his hand and began his defense. King Agrippa, I consider myself fortunate that it is before you today that I am defending myself against all the charges made against me by the Jews, because you are so well informed about all Jewish customs and controversies. Therefore, I beg you to listen to me patiently. So then, all Jews know how I lived my life from my youth on, both in my country and in Jerusalem. Remember, his country is not Israel. He's Jewish. His family comes from there, but he was born in the diaspora, outside of the land. They have known me for a long time, and if they are willing, they can testify that I have followed the strictest party in our religion. That is, I lived as a Parush, right? A Pharisee? How ironic it is that I stand on trial here because of my hope and the promise made to our fathers. Remember, he's already stated what hope? Resurrection. Okay. It is the fulfillment of this very promise that our 12 tribes hope to attain as they resolutely carry on their acts of worship night and day. Oh, worship? Can worship be a rote act? It can be. When they brought sacrifices to the priests, that was also worship in obedience, no emotion. Yet it is in connection with this hope, Your Majesty, that I am being accused by Jews. There's an exclamation point. But the very people who profess these things, right? Why do you people consider it incredible that God raises the dead? I used to think it was my duty. Listen to what Paul says. I used to think it was my duty to do all I could to combat the name of Yeshua from Nazareth. And in Jerusalem, I did so. I'm going to stop there. We talked about it a little bit this morning about, certain people protesting concerts and things. If someone's home ministry is bashing other believers, I have a tendency to nowhere do I see in Scripture where God sent anyone to bash believers or Jews. I see prophets who go with truth to the one they should go to in authority, or the people where they need to go and speak truth. Does that make sense? Okay. Does that mean that we should never call out something that's blatantly wrong? No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay? What I'm saying is there are some who their whole ministry is out to get someone. Oh, I'm going to get flack for this. IHOP, International House of Prayer. I don't care what you think of the man Bickle. None of my business, don't care. I have to look at all the evidence from outside. I don't know all the evidence. But I do know that the accusations are being flung as accusations in a public forum instead of following a biblical pattern. There was no biblical pattern followed. Did they go to him? Did they go to the council? Did they go to the elders? It was not done biblically. And here's the other thing I look at. He was praying for what? Jerusalem and Israel, when other quote-unquote Christian were not. And he was bringing awareness. And he has 24-hour houses of prayers all around the world now. Isn't that what God asked us to do? And so does the enemy attack? Yeah. Unfortunately, whatever happened didn't happen biblically. Didn't happen scripturally. Okay? I'm not saying he's guilty or not guilty. I'm just using that as an example of how things, because there's one woman in particular who has made it her goal and mission to destroy the man. That's wrong. And others have jumped on without evidence or getting involved and doing it in a very public forum. That's wrong. I'm not saying we can't publicly call something out if it's done correctly, if it's been addressed. If there's a heresy and a false teaching, I'm going to call it what it is. I'm going to call it false. I strictly am. It's false teaching, but I'm not going to attack a person if I haven't gone to that person. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. I used to think it was my duty to do all I could to combat the name of Yeshua from Nazareth. A passerby who meddles in the affairs of others is a fool. I can remember being young, really, 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 really young. And something was going on that wasn't correct within a church. And I needed to go and speak. But someone came along and I wasn't as strong, I wasn't as grounded, I wasn't as, what do I want to say, mature enough. I was playing up here, not down here. Okay? I was playing up here. So I caught it, and I took it with me. I was wrong. See what I'm saying? Should I have gone? Yes, but not with this. I needed to go with the truth I had, not with someone else's offense. Does that make sense? So I'm not, when I teach, it's not because I'm telling you, oh, do as I say. Some of the things I've learned the hard way.
You're not going after the messenger, you're going after the message.
Yeah. So we've got to be, I thought it was my duty to correct a wrong, but it wasn't my wrong, and it was hearsay, and I don't know, I didn't witness it. You see what I'm saying? Be careful. That's why when I tell you, stick to the facts. Don't bring in the emotion. Don't bring in extra. What did God tell you? Stick to that. Don't add. You don't need to add to it. You don't need more ammo. Just stick to what He showed you and stick to that. Okay? That's what my point. So see, I'll bring up my faults if it's going to help. Okay, for us to understand. I used to think it was my duty to do all I could to combat the name of Yeshua from Nazareth, and in Jerusalem, I did so. And after receiving authority from the head Kohanim, I myself threw many of God's people in prison. What? When they were put to death, I cast my vote against them. Often I went from one synagogue to another, punishing them and trying to make them blaspheme. In my wild fury against them, I even went so far as to persecute them in cities outside the country. What country? Israel. On one such occasion, I was traveling to Damascus, with the modern day Damascus, still there, with the full authority and power of the head Kohanim. I was on the road, and it was noon, Your Majesty, when I saw a light from heaven brighter than the sun shining around me and my traveling companions. We all fell to the ground, and then I heard a voice saying to me in Hebrew, this is important, in Hebrew, Shaul, Shaul, why do you keep persecuting me? It's hard for you to be kicking against the ox goads. And I said, who are you, Lord? What's an ox goad? Glad you asked.
Isn't it some kind of a stick that you poke them with?
It's right here. To goad is to incite, to stimulate, to instigate, to urge forward, or to rouse by anything pungent, severe, irritating, or inflaming. An ox goad would then be a pointed stick that they would prod. I'm going to prod you. Don't fall for somebody's prodding. Or goading. We say, oh, don't goad me. Well, it's an old word. Huh?
I dare you.
Oh, yeah, I dare you. Don't be drawn into foolish arguments. Okay? All right. He says it's hard to be kicking against the ox goads. Who was prodding whom, though? Oh, Yeshua was prodding this time. Who's he prodding? So if it's God prodding you, maybe you should pay attention. But if it's man prodding you, don't bite. I said, who are you, sir? And the Lord answered, I am Yeshua, and you are persecuting me. But get up and stand on your feet. I have appeared to you to appoint you to serve and bear witness to what you have already seen of me and what you will see when I appear to you in the future. I find this very interesting. He's on the road. He hasn't had a relationship with Yeshua. What has he seen?
He's seen the lives
Right?
of believers.
Yeah. He's persecuted. He has seen. He has seen and heard the doings. He has seen and heard of the miracles. He has seen the way they live their lives. And it irritates him. Because he's a zealot for the law. And they're claiming Mashiach has come. And so he has taken it upon himself, his duty. But he has seen. Okay? Because Yeshua's trying to get him. He's been prodding him, goading him. It's hard for you to kick against the ox goads. He said it, therefore it's true. He has been trying to get Paul's attention. He was there at Stephen's death. You can't tell me you can't see a man not cry out, not scream, not fight back, give up his spirit and give that kind of testimony and it not affect you. You have already seen of me. That's what he says. You will bear witness to what you have already seen of me and to what you will see when I appear to you in the future. See, Paul talks in one of his books about, I know a man who. He's talking about himself. I know a man who. Whether he was in the spirit or out, I do not know. He doesn't care. He just knows it happened and it was real. Okay? All right. I will deliver you from the people and from the Gentiles. Okay, so are the people and the Gentiles are different? Yes, the people. Who? God's people, Israel. Same people. Still his people. And they're real. And from the Gentiles. I am sending you to open their eyes so that they will turn from darkness to light, from power of the adversary to God, and thus receive forgiveness of sins and a place among those who have been separated for holiness. What is separation? Kadosh. Holy. Kadosh. Separation. Consecration. Those are all the same word. For holiness by putting their trust in me. So how are we Kadosh? How are we set apart? By trusting in Yeshua. Okay? By trust. So King Agrippa, I did not disobey the vision from heaven. On the contrary, I announced first in Damascus, then in Jerusalem and throughout Yehuda, and also to the Gentiles that they should turn from their sins to God and then do deeds consistent with that repentance. How come he didn't mention Saudi Arabia here? It's not pertinent to what's happening right here. Does he need to say to him, before I went to Jerusalem, I went down here? No, it's not giving a blow-by-blow detail of everything. He's giving him a synopsis, something that's pertinent to him and his situation right here and now. Okay? All right. It was because of these things that Jews seized me in the temple and tried to kill me. However, I have had God's help, so to this day I stand testifying to both small and great, saying nothing but what both the prophets and Moshe said would happen. I'm going to start to the small and great. Who's he standing before right now? Rome's great. Right? But when he went and he was on his missionary journeys, he was also at the small. Those who weren't, quote unquote, somebody. Let me tell you, the non-bodies, is that a word? The non-somebodies, They're important. They may be more important than you realize, because someday, who knows, they might be somebody.
They still will.
That the Messiah would die, and that he, as the first to rise from the dead, would proclaim light to both the people and the Gentiles. See, Paul understood the mystery. There is no new mystery. I keep telling you, there's no. If somebody says, "Oh, we now know the mystery of Paul," that's funny. He declared it almost 2,000 years ago. Okay, there is not a mystery today. It's been solved. That the light came to the people, Israel, Jews, and the Gentiles. And it was declared in Genesis and in Exodus. Oh. But just as he reached this point in his defense, Festus, not Agrippa, Festus, who has knowledge of these things, shouted at the top of his voice, "Shaul, you're out of your mind. You're so good. You're so much learning. It's driving you crazy." Festus is the one going, no. Why? Because maybe Festus is kicking against the goads. What happens before somebody submits? They fight. Right? They fight it hard. But Shaul said, "No, I am not crazy, Festus, your excellency. On the contrary, I am speaking words of truth and sanity. For the king understands these matters. So to him I express myself freely, because I am sure that none of these things have been hidden from him." He's speaking to him in third person. It's deference. It's honor. "After all, they didn't happen in some back alley. No, King Agrippa, do you believe the prophets?" Oh, I know you believe. He didn't wait for an answer. "Do you believe in the prophets?" "I know you do." Agrippa said to Shaul, "In this short time, you're trying to convince me to become messianic?" See, there it is right there. Festus is already, okay, he's kicking against the goads. Okay? He's kicking. That's why Paul had to sit here for 2 years. Because this man is having a battle. "You're trying to make me messianic?" See, he knows the ways of the Jews. He also knows the way of the way. And Shaul replied, "Whether it takes a short time or a long time, I wish to God that not only you, but also everyone hearing me today," who's there? Military leaders, kings, people of prestige, my servants, there's servants in the room, "might become just like me, except for these chains." Then the king got up, and with him the governor and Bernice, and others sitting with them. And after they had left, they said to one another. See, now they're conferring. Okay, we've had enough. We've heard enough. Now they're conferring, just like I said at the beginning, right? They're going to confer. And then what they said to one another is, "This man is doing nothing that deserves either death or prison." And Agrippa said to Festus, if he hadn't appealed to the emperor, he could have been released. What did I tell you at the beginning? I appealed to the emperor. That was it. That was his sentence. By his own words, by your word you'll be acquitted, and by your word you'll be condemned. He knew that. But God had already told him that that's where he was going to Rome. Okay? If he hadn't appealed to the emperor, he could have been released. "Oh, Paul, why did you do that?" Wrong question. Wrong question. Some things we need to turn loose of. Okay? Some things we need to let go. We need to not focus on the things that are nanya. If he wanted you to know, he would have told you. This one over here. What did I tell her today? Because I said so. There are some things I will explain to her. Why? Because she's learning to reason and we're learning to talk. And there are other things, because I said so, I'm not going to explain it. Because this is what I said we're going to do right now. And this is not the time for me to stop and explain this to you, because right now I need you quiet. Same thing with God. So, he is God. I am not. There's who is it? Phillips, Craig, and Dean, since we were on music this morning. "You are God in heaven, and here am I on earth. I'm down here in the maze. What makes me think I could possibly understand what he's doing? Okay? Trust and obey. See? It's not a worship song. It's not a praise song. But what? Oh, reminds me. What does the word say? Trust. If you love me, you'll obey me. You can't love me without trust. We just read that. But sometimes we ask the wrong questions. And so instead we need to get to that place. And maybe it's when we get to the place of worship, when there's none of us, and we surrender. And guess what? Then it doesn't matter. Then it doesn't matter. You don't care about that question anymore. Because it doesn't matter. So let's abide. Let's have relationship. Let's praise. Let's put in this word and good things. And let's have moments and times of worship where we surrender. Where he can Kabeni, clean my heart. Clean my heart. Okay? Okay. That's a good place to stop. May the Lord bless and keep you. May his face and his grace shine upon you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace, and give you peace. V'yarechecha Adonai v'yashmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yihunecha, Yisai Adonai panav elecha v'yihunecha, v'yeshlem ha-shalom, v'yeshlem ha-shalom. Shabbat shalom. One last thought. Papa Al's favorite song is "Create in Me a Clean Heart, O Lord, and Renew a Right Spirit." Guess what? That comes from the heart of worship. Okay? All right. Shabbat shalom.